Life is full of wonders, isn't it? I had originally planned to do a video for you guys all about the upcoming Guilty Gear Strive game. However, unfortunately, that game got delayed, and since I'm still learning this new editing software, I wasn't happy at all with the video I had put together. So I figured I'd just scrap it and work on something else. This video has been on my mind for quite some time, ever since I was able to get my first non-linear editing software on this computer that I'm using right now. A video that perhaps has more questions than answers, yet a video about one of the numerous video games I played as a child. Today, we will be looking at Fighting Force 2. Fighting Force 2 is a problem, but to understand why it was a problem, we must look at the game that came before it, which was Fighting Force 1. Fighting Force 1 was more akin to a 3D version of Sega's classic game at the time, Streets of Rage. Now, Fighting Force 1 had a somewhat diverse character selection, a wide range of environments for you to fight in, and a somewhat diverse cast of enemies as well. So, with that, there was enough of a game here for you to at least play. Fighting Force 2, on the other hand, well, just look at it. You see the difference, and I would like to point out that really this is all you have. The first level of the game, and there's no character selection. And the level itself doesn't even look that impressive, so that should be a telltale sign right there. Alright, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Do we have any story at all to tie this game together, perhaps?
It's the future, and the world is controlled by the trans-global corporations of the late 20th century.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were playing Fighting Force. I didn't know this game was actually Resident Evil in disguise. Just to kind of kick things off here, not only does the game look bad, but it also has those pseudo 3D tank controls as well. A lot of 3D games of this era just use it for basic movement. Tomb Raider was a classic example, but here the controls feel a little too weighted for you to do anything at all. So you can just fumble around like an idiot the whole game and not know. Alright, at this point I'm sure I'm missing something. Does the game have any story that we can perhaps follow? Well, it does, but the story is presented in this stupid dialogue box at the beginning of each level that you have to read. And I don't know about you, but I don't like reading, so most people just skip over the thing and don't pay attention. I suppose if you're patient enough, you can read something, but I don't care. Alright, so what do you actually do in this game? Well, and perhaps the only similarity I can find, you just go from area to area beating up enemies. And that's really it. Why, you do get weapons, of course, but the adjustment to gameplay is so minuscule that it's not worth it at all. That is, unless, of course, you pick up one of these. Up until now, I haven't felt like I need to mention this at all. But do you hear something? The distinct lack to music. You see, this game decides to go the Tomb Raider route and only use music when you need it. For example,
Time to buckle up and take the ride. Going in.
that's the thing. You only hear music at those times at all. In Tomb Raider, there'd be at least music intermittently, but in Fighting Force 2, the only noise you get is enemies grunting whenever you hit them. I wonder. In the world of video games, there are two separate but not as important types of games. There are games that everybody plays, and those games that deserve to be shot on sight. This is one of those games. Yes, the whole video was worth it for that joke and that joke alone. But back to the topic at hand, the game doesn't really check any boxes. And with it being a dramatic difference from the first game, I really don't see how anybody could enjoy this or even sit through it. All that being said, I clearly played this a lot as a child, and I don't understand why. It must be one of those titles that have some type of charm to it towards the later end of the PlayStation 1's life cycle. However, the game does still intrigue me enough that it can be interesting to see what they would do with the Fighting Force 3 if the franchise got resurrected. One can only hope that we will find out sometime soon.